So pathetic.
Oh, that was fucking brutal, dude. Joel's a
Yeah,
sick bastard too. Absolute sick bastard.
he is. I understand
He
why
he
he
did it in
did it,
such
but
a
he didn't have to
grimy
do it
way.
like
Like,
that.
just he'll just lie. He doesn't give a fuck.
It was
It
sleazy.
was sleazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep going.
All right, let me know. I think
Oh yeah, we're cooking.
we're cooking. All right, cool, cool,
Hmm.
cool. Okay, everyone. We're here one day late for The Last of Us season 2 episode 6. Appreciate you guys tapping in. I had some work shit last night. I worked 16 hours straight. I can't fucking believe I did that. But so wasn't able to stream. But we're back, and fingers crossed that we have the audio issues solved this time around, and we'll just keep trying. And then Damon, we're good on stream, right? It says we're on it.
Yeah,
Cool,
we're
cool.
locked and loaded.
So we're the Winter Hill Warriors. I'm Chenny Britt, joined by my boy Damon. Uh, what we're gonna do is just break it down, just kind of give our reactions and takes scene by scene. I'll kind of give a quick recap, and then Damon's gonna give analysis. We're just gonna have a conversation about it. Quick disclosure to start: we were receiving a little bit of feedback from some people saying last episode, whatever, we incorrectly called the WLF the World Liberation Front instead of the Washington Liberation Front. Few things. One, if we're wrong, just let us know we're wrong. We don't pretend to be experts. We're literally just giving our takes on the episode and just having a discussion. So we don't care about being wrong. But if you're gonna be snarky about it, man, then just you gotta go watch another channel. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, there's so many channels out there that prioritize only getting all the facts right. That's not what we try to do. We just try to give our reaction, just talk about the show, and yeah. So we don't claim to be perfect or anything like that. With that being said, any thoughts on the episode, Damon, before we get cooking and I start going into the scene by scene?
Yeah, just to give a quick little summary, this was the spiritual link to the Frank and Bill episode from last season. This is our in your feels, multiple flashbacks layered in to paint a beautiful story that we all know how it ends, but it's a very heartwarming yet sobering episode in terms of being a better idea of who Joel is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is they did the flash because they did last season 1. They did the flashback in the penultimate as well, right? With the story of Ellie, basically. Was that it?
Hers was definitely late in the season, yeah, with the whole Fedra
Okay.
deal.
Yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. That's what I thought. Um, all right, so let's get going. We open up and the scene right away. This whole episode is basically gonna be a flashback, and we get an ultra flashback to, I don't know. This must be like 1980 or something. Uh,
Yeah.
Texas, right? It's young Joel. He's like got to be 15 or something, or maybe like 16, 17. And basically, what happened is his brother Tommy was trying to buy weed from some kid, and then Austin, Texas, 1983, found it. So, um, so I think his brother Tommy was trying to buy weed and then got caught, or the kid tried to rob him or something, and then Joel walked in on it and then beat the kid up, and then the cops were called and Joel got in trouble. But Joel and Tommy's dad is a cop, and this dude's pretty abusive. Nothing like sexually, just he just gets angry and just hits his kid. So Joel doesn't want Tommy to get hit again. So Joel lies and tells his dad, "Hey, it was my weed." But obviously his dad is a cop, so he talked to the kid that was selling the weed and got the real story. So he's just telling Joel, like, "Do you think I'm a fucking idiot? Why are you lying to me and and acting like I don't know, what's going on? I know it was Tommy buying the drugs, stuff like that." And his dad at first gets kind of mad that Joel would lie, but then or I think Joel says, "Hey, you're not going to hurt him." So his dad sees what the motivating factor is for all of this. It's Joel trying to protect Tommy. We see that Joel is a protector. This kind of cuts his dad a little bit. He realizes, fuck, I'm a monster to my kids. So he goes, cracks open 2 beers, hands one to Joel, and he just has a candid moment where he tells him, "Hey, when I was young, I stole a candy bar, and my dad, I was 10 years old, and my dad made me bring the candy bar back, and then just fucking punched me right in the jaw, broke my jaw. I had to get my jaw wired shut. There was blood everywhere. It was just some fuck shit, right? So just very traumatizing for a kid to experience. And it seems like his dad is like, the way he's handled it, he's buried it deep inside because he calls it humiliating instead of like being actually terrified of his father. So then Joel asks his dad, "Look, if you experience this, then why the fuck are you doing it to Tommy and you or me?" And his dad just kind of breaks down in tears and says, "Look, I'm fucked up, and I know I've hurt you guys and hit you guys, but I'm doing a little bit better than my father did, and hopefully when it's your turn, you do a little bit better than me." And he just walks out. Pretty powerful opening scene, man. What'd you think about that?
Protector. Right. First off, shout out to Tony Dalton, aka Lalo Salamanca from Better Call Saul. He is the perfect combo of Joel and Tommy in the face. Just go the violence that's winding down, right? When, maybe you'll do a little better than me. You can see how this kind of thing has hardened Joel, and how even in the moment you can see that intense Joel stare up, looking like a young Joel. We can see how this ends up in Joel slamming pills and booze after Sarah's death, because that was like his great thing. He had the world around him just snatch it all the way and plunge it for zero, right? Ellie, as we know her, represented something far greater to him in the scenes of any show, and I was really happy with how this.
Yeah, I remember. This is a crazy story. I won't reveal the name, but one of my boys, he had an awesome fucking dad, like loving dad, but it was an Italian dad. And I remember we were in 8th grade. We all went to go watch my best friend's older brother fight some other kid in town. We weren't able to make it on time. And then on the way over, like my buddy was mouthing off to his mom on the phone. Oh, dude, I'll never forget this, bro. We stop at this pizza place, and his dad pulls up. And his dad was the man, like would take us to basketball tournaments and stuff like that. Like, I love his dad. I still talk to him now. But he had a crazy side. So his dad pulls up, finds him, and it's like, "You dare talk to your mom like that?" Fucking grabs him in front of all of us, just throws him into the fucking car, pulls him inside, and then we're like, "All right, see you later, man." And then apparently, like, he said the first thing he did when he got in the car was just fucking punch him right in the face, dude. Fucking insane. Dude, I remember I got the shit beat out of my, or he didn't. My dad didn't like beat the fuck out of me, but I remember one time like I called my teacher a bitch in 6th grade, and my dad was just like, "What?" Just started fucking wailing on my arms, dude. I was so pissed. Dads, am I right? But anyways, yeah. So that is a boomer way to raise your kids. We jump then into like the next series of flashbacks. I love my dad, by the way. All right, so they don't start off by telling us like specifically what year this is, but I'm guessing this is right after Joel returns with Ellie to Wyoming. So she's what? This is like the end of season 1, we can presume. So it's like she's like 15 right now. Okay, so 15-year-old fucking Ellie and Joel, I think she's about to turn 16 because Joel is actually at the bar, and Joel at this point is known as the new guy, and Seth is actually working at the bar. So just two hardened motherfuckers, because Joel is basically asking Seth for he's just like they make a trade. I don't know what does Joel give Seth? Do you know? Because Seth in exchange gives Joel a vanilla cake for Ellie's birthday. What the fuck does Joel give Seth?
Looks like he hands him a bag full of Legos, which, if you have grant more than any sophistication of toy that they have available right now.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, 'cause I was trying to figure out what it was. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, we then they kind of have like this little back and forth where like Seth is like, "Hey, you see me now, but you got to understand that I used to be a cop, and basically, I'm similar to you. Like, I've had some crazy, I've also been a hardened man, so I'm not, I ain't no bitch." That's basically what Seth says. So then Joel takes all of the cake or whatever. They do the trade, and he goes back to the house, and he's very excited to give Ellie her present for her 16th birthday. He ends up getting this bone, and I think he uses it like I forget what he makes out. Maybe he makes a guitar pick or something out of it. Okay, yeah. So he carves something like he very good craftsmanship. Makes a butterfly. It looks like, and basically just gives her like this brand new guitar that he strums up. It's very fucking sweet. And what's it called? So as he's doing that, he's taking a lot of care. Tommy comes back in, and Ellie had apparently burned her arm, and it seems like she kind of burned it on purpose. So at first she comes in, she's like, "Oh, it was like kind of an accident." She says she pushed her arm up against a pot, and she's like kind of loopy because I think they gave her some pain meds or whatever. And Joel is at first really concerned. He's upset at Tommy. He's like, "What the fuck? Why'd you let her do this?" And Tommy's like, "Dude, I didn't have any say in this. She just did it." I think it's because she's been bitten before, right? In the arm. She had bite marks in the arm. So she wanted to, she said she told Joel, "I just want to wear short sleeves again." So basically, she purposefully burned her arm to hide the bite marks. Uh, and so then that happens. And then we kind of jump to the next day where Ellie wakes up and her arm is still bandaged. And Joel is surprising her for her birthday and gets her the cake. I think he spelled like her fucking Seth spelled her name wrong or whatever. But Ellie just basically hands the cake, and then Joel also gives her a new guitar, and it's this really cool moment. And then what's it called? Ellie's like, "Well, you're gonna sing a song for me, man. It's my birthday." So Joel sits down and starts singing a song. What song does he sing? It's like something in the future or whatever.
During the trailer, the lyrics pretty much speak for themselves.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. So does that, and it's just kind of like a nice moment. So Ellie turned 16. She's still got a good relationship with Joel. And Ellie, what's it called? Ellie starts playing a little bit of the guitar. So first birthday, turned 16. Thoughts on that whole year one in Jackson, essentially.
Yeah, the guitar is Joel's masterclass in terms of he knows he's only a couple months removed from one of the most heinous lies that he's ever told. And the moth from Ellie's drawings that he puts on the guitar, the you have all the callback to his history as a dad, what trauma still haunts him, what have you, all that good stuff. I think this to me was a nice companion with that scene from last ep where Ellie is playing "Take on Me" by Aha for Dina. It's like this is the magic in the bottle that she had there, and both songs have a similar meaning. The idea of like a temporary, but like someone you really don't want to lose, but you might lose them. That "I understand" remark from Joel felt kind of cool. Like they're both a couple of misfits in their own right, with more and more similarities every episode. It was nice to see the scenes in back-to-back eps, but to bring you back to your protector point from before, did you notice how he was like acting like Tommy could have prevented the burn from happening?
Yeah, yeah, that was absurd.
Yeah, it's like he just like this episode is full of unreasonable stuff like that where he just and it's a pattern of behavior with him that I think I didn't really put together as well before this episode. Like she clearly just wants to hide her cordyceps scar. So it's like acting like somebody mishandled her or couldn't protect her is kind of out of reality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, agree. All right, so then we jump to the next flashback. This is 1 year later, so she's turning 17 now. And this time, Joel's birthday surprise for Ellie is basically leading her down this trail. He's got something to show her, and it is actually a museum, like a space museum. And or it's actually just like a museum in general, right? It's not just space, because at first there's this big model of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Ellie climbs on top of it, and then they go in the museum, and there's actually like a replica of the Apollo 15, I think. Yeah, Apollo 15, 1971. I don't know if they're trying to say like they got the actual spaceship in there. Either way, Joel like has scoped out. He's broken the windows. They put on the astronaut suits, and they go inside the spaceship. I think it's the actual Apollo 15, Damon. That's what they're trying to say, right? Yeah, it's the museum. Like maybe they got the actual like replica or something. I don't know. But then when they're inside, Joel plays a cassette that kind of mimics the call from the radio tower, as if they're actually astronauts. And then this scene's kind of up for interpretation. It's like Ellie visualizes very heavily that she's actually going up in space. Like I doubt there was power running through that museum, so that was kind of like almost like a dream sequence, right? Like a daydream type of sequence. And she has just an awesome time just being a kid, pretending to be an astronaut. And then as they're leaving the museum, Ellie actually sees some fireflies. I think let me see if I can find this. Yeah, she sees some fireflies flying around, and it kind of jogs her memory like, hey, whatever happened? Like, what actually happened in Salt Lake City? So, thoughts on that overall?
Yeah, a lot to dig into, I think, and the last one might have been her 15th.
I thought she was 50. So, yeah, okay. So,
think
she 15. Interesting.
I think that's the guitar one, and then this is 16.
Oh, yeah,
What
because
an
then it's 2 years
insane
later.
birthday that
Yes.
would be. Like, you'd be balling on your birthday in Dystopian Jackson to get all of this on your 16th. But some people go for the Anju. There's that little scene where he's talking about how she wants to go on patrol. Like Jesse was so young when he did it, and Joel thinks that her and Jesse might hook up or something. That just kind of shows you that maybe Joel doesn't totally understand Ellie. Let's just say he was raised in a different time to make that assumption, because if you can get a read off of this right now, you should know his kid. Incredible birthday surprise, even in a non-dystopian setting, especially because we know that Ellie really likes space. Right? I think she read about like Sally Ride or something from season 1. She likes space and astronauts. And given how things are going now, experiencing any space travel simulation, like I don't think anybody on Earth is going to the moon anytime soon. So this is a really cool experience, like once in a lifetime type stuff. Joel really cares, man. He ain't perfect, but he does care. The fireflies, though, that was, there's something still amiss. Something is still wrong here, which sucks, but that's kind of the theme of the show.
So she turns. Okay, so she turns. I thought she was 15 in season 1, but I guess she was 14, and she turns 15 in the first one, and then this birthday is her 16th birthday, right? Yes.
I think so.
Okay, interesting.
I believe that was it.
Oh.
Or unless it was both the 16th birthday.
Oh.
Maybe they just did. Maybe this is a major maybe it's just a major birthday.
Okay, yeah. That might be it, because I'm trying to see like 1 year later. So maybe this is. Let me see.
Is it all the same birthday?
Let me see if I can find 1 year later. So, okay. If anyone's watching this in chat, I'm trying to understand the timeline, because I'm almost certain season 1 she was 15, right? Like it's like here's a 15 year. Maybe she was 14. I don't know. Fuck.
I think so. What shirt is she wearing when she goes to the museum? Is she wearing that same shirt?
So it says. So it does say she's wearing a white shirt basically, or like a beige shirt. But it does say after the guitar scene. I think it then says 1 year later from there. So maybe you're right. Maybe she turns 15 in the guitar scene, turns 16 for this museum scene, and this is the scene, like you said earlier, where Joel actually asks about Jesse, because he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are spending a lot of time together," and then Ellie at this point knows that she's into girls, so Ellie's just like, "Yeah, you don't need to worry about that."
He's like, "You sure?
Yeah,
I told you about the birds and the bees."
Yeah, exactly. Just so awkward. But okay, so let's say she turned 16 here, because I think you're right, because we know she's 19 in present day, right? So the math
Yeah.
would have to only math in the way that you said. I just swore I thought she was 15 in season 1. So yeah, that's how she spends her 16th birthday. We then jump to a year later. Now she's turning 17. Now she's starting to get into more of that moody teenager vibe. Joel has a cake for her again, and he hears her, or he comes home early and she's not expecting him. He's going to surprise her for her birthday. I also like how it's raining, so it's kind of moody. And so then he like, she doesn't expect him to be coming back. So then he hears giggling upstairs. He breaks into her room. Like, he does like the quick knock and open. So he's not really waiting for her to, to be ready. And she's been fooling around a little bit with Kat, who we know is one of the other openly gay women, in Jackson. And Ellie's 17 at this point, and Joel's like, she's 17, and Kat's like, I'm 19. So it's really not that crazy. And so not only were they kind of just fooling around, Ellie was starting to get a tattoo on her arm, and she's fucking pissed off at Joel, being like, privacy and like fucking leave me alone, all this stuff. And Joel's, where it really starts causing problems is Joel's like, he's like basically being like, oh, why are you fooling around with women, right? Basically. Like that's basically what he says. So then she's like, I'm not experimenting. Like, she knows. So Joel's like, you're not yourself right now. Like, so it's, a little bit like homophobic vibes from Joel. So then later on that night, Ellie is like, I'm fed up. She wants her own spot. So she goes next door to the garage, opens it up. Joel hears her, catches her in the middle of the night, trying to move into the garage. And he's just like, look, I get it. You're mad and stuff, but this is my house, this is my rules. And then Ellie's like, it's not your house. You don't own anything. They gave this to you. And that kind of cuts Joel deep. And, but she apologizes for getting the tattoo. And Joel says, look, you're, it's probably time for you to get your own space. I'll help you move into the garage. Just do it tomorrow, And then, so they kind of reconcile a bit. And Joel's like, look, I don't mind the tattoo. It actually looks pretty cool. And then I think he jumps over, and we see him. This is like the first time he makes contact with Gail. He finds her at one of the diners, and he's just like, he's trying to find meaning in why Ellie got a moth tattoo, right? And and Gail's kind of just like, I don't really think she gives him the time of the day. And then we just got to see Ellie just moving in, but it does show her drawing, right, like a fly, a moth, and with the words, you have a greater purpose. And that was what Marlene told her in season 1. So what do you think about the whole Ellie turning 17, that's that whole sequence?
Yeah, 17, man. She is angsty as shit. There's Radiohead posters, Nirvana posters. She's wearing a flannel. She's getting homemade tattoos. Like, Gail says moths are a symbol of death, so clearly she's leaned into that, the way that she's sketching the moths out. Really funny line from Gail, by the way, with the Lucy from Peanuts. Catherine O'Hara is still crushing it this episode. The whole Cat thing, too. The actor who plays Cat is actually 34.
Dude, yo, so
That's kind of like doesn't look 34. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
I was
she
like,
looks
whoa.
like,
I looked it up and was like, whoa. They're like,
dude.
I think they're 34 but playing 19. That's a crazy amount of versatility.
Dude, young Mazzino's 34.
Dude, the skin routines on this set must be impeccable.
Yeah.
I do understand, like, listen, Joel, the homophobia, all that, it was terrible. Very rough few seconds thinking like she was just like, not in her right state of mind, quote unquote. I do understand why he went off the handle if you stack up the weed, the hookup, and the tattoo. But then you get into, like, he goes over the line. Ellie does throw that nice little dig in. Like, that's pretty disrespectful to tell your parent that they don't own the thing that they're in. Like, that's, that's just not really something you say. Joel wants this sweet daughter who is borderline, was his little best friend, right? She was basically his little buddy throughout the entire first season. Sadly, that is not how teenagers work, especially with Ellie trying to figure out who she truly is. And it seems like she has a pretty good idea, but he's not really accepting quite yet. This is the first moment where the fracture at the start of the season makes a lot of sense, where you can understand why this is all happening. And I do like how the tattoo was also her next step of reclaiming that cordyceps scar. Like it was the tattoo over the burn mark. Honestly, like she's making it her own in a certain kind of way, which I think is symbolic of like that freedom that she's craving, that she really wants at this point.
Yeah, it's a moth, right? Like she's basically, is it a
Yeah.
moth or is it a firefly or
So I'm pretty sure it's the moth, similar to the one that was on the guitar handle.
okay, cool, that makes sense. Yeah, that's fucking insane. I can't believe the actress who plays Kat is 34. That's nuts. And yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, it's insane. And yeah, telling your parent that you don't own shit. It's also tough to pull that card in this. There's no economy in this fucking world. You know what I mean? It's not like it just cuts deep, man. All right, now we jump to 2 years later. So this is why, look, you're right. That first birthday must have been her turning 15, but it just trips me out. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
misremembering. But now she's turning 19. So she's now rehearsing in the garage bedroom by herself. She's been rehearsing about how she's going to ask Joel about what actually went down in Salt Lake City because she's smart enough to know, like, it doesn't make sense. So Joel told her it was Raiders, but she's like, if Raiders could kill all those soldiers, how did they not see them coming? How did the Fireflies know that we were coming, but they couldn't sense the Raiders? And then, how come we're the only ones who survived? So all of this, and so she's been thinking a lot more about how that all went down, and that whole Marlene telling her she has a greater purpose, and now she's like she feels lost, and she needs answers. But Joel interrupts and surprises her for her 19th birthday, and her birthday gift is her getting on her first patrol. So she's really excited. For a moment, she forgets about what she was actually going to ask Joel. Joel takes her on the first patrol on the safest trail that they have. So this is a great gift for her, and she's still kind of thinking about what she wants or when she wants to ask Joel about that whole Salt Lake City thing. But then they get like a call, right? Basically saying Eugene and Adam, who have also been on patrol, they're kind of close to them and they're in trouble. So they need you guys to go pull up and help them. So this is where it gets fucking sketchy. And at first, Joel wants to just go solo, but Ellie's like, no, I'm fucking going with you. So they kind of get down. They hear a gunshot from afar. Now you're gonna have to tell me what really went down here because I'm trying to understand. But we see a horse kind of dragging some dude. Is that Adam? Like, or because we see a dead infected, but we see the horse dragging. Let me see if I can find this fucking scene specifically. Yeah, we see the horse dragging some dude. That was Adam, right? That was Eugene's patrol partner, I'm guessing.
I have to assume, right?
Right, and he's dead as fuck. So I wonder what the gunshot was. But he's hitched to the horse, so I doubt it's an infected. So it seems like Adam just got bit and just like murked. So maybe he just got like destroyed. And so it's just a tough, eerie scene. That's when they pull up and they find Eugene. This is Gail's husband. He's still alive at this point, but he got bit. So maybe the gunshot, it seems like the gunshot actually was probably from Eugene, and maybe he got one of the infected off of him, but not before he got bit. So Eugene's like, look, I think I got an hour. Just let me go back to Jackson so I can see Gail, my wife, one more time. And I just got to talk to her, and you guys can all keep an eye out on me, stuff like that. Joel's not having it. He's like, fuck that. So then he pulls out a gun on Joel. Joel's like, you don't have anything left because the gun's like, it's clearly like not loaded or whatever. I don't know anything about guns, but Joel calls his bluff. Is like, yeah, you don't fucking have shit in there. And Eugene's like begging. He's like, dude, I gotta go see my wife. I got things to tell her. Joel says, we got rules. We can't have that happen. And Ellie goes up and tells him, hold out your hand, count to 10. He counts to 10. It's a simple little test that I think the Fireflies used to use, right? To see if the virus is kind of infecting you yet. So then Ellie pleads with Joel and says, look, he still has time. Like, just let him see his fucking wife. So it's compassion on Ellie's end and it's ruthlessness on Joel's end. Joel tells Ellie, I promise, just go get the horses. I'll lead them out. Okay. So it's just Joel and fucking Eugene. And Joel has him walk 10 feet in front of him. And as they're walking, Eugene like kind of mentions, yeah, you know, the cordyceps, it makes you feel very cold. Like, I thought he was going to turn right then and there, dude. When he's like, oh, I feel so cold. Just starts fucking, that's a crazy thing to say, bro.
It's like the moment in the war movie when like, it's like, I can see like the star, like the heaven, like everything is so cold and bright. And it's like, oh no.
Right. It's like in 1917 or whatever that movie is, when the dude gets stabbed up. So, Ellie's out to get the horses and Joel leads Eugene to this beautiful, beautiful lake. And that's when Eugene knows, like, yeah, he's going to fucking kill me. So Joel goes, look, just don't turn around. I'm going to make it quick. And Eugene's like, you can't do this. And Joel just goes, just tell me the last words you want me to tell her. And Eugene is like, no. I need her last words, right? Because Gail, after all, is a therapist. So she's Eugene's comfort. Eugene is terrified, and he needs Gail. He needs to see her face. And Joel tells Eugene, look, if you love someone, you'll always see their face. So it's Joel playing therapist, and Eugene sees it. He's like, I see her. And then that's when Joel fucking puts the bullet in his head. Now, obviously, Ellie's going to have, Ellie hears this. So it's like, who else could it have been? She comes back with the two horses, sees Eugene dead, and Joel, they wrap Eugene up. They start bringing him back, and Joel's like, look, we'll tell Gail everything she needs to know and nothing more. It's the right thing to do. We did the right thing. So Ellie is fucking pissed at Joel. I'm going to pause here before they get back to Jackson. What did you think about Ellie's 19th birthday?
Tough one.
Yeah.
The idea from the start is that he's giving her something that he thinks she really wants, which she does. But she's prepping to have the convo about the fireflies. So it's like he's trying to hit something that they have in common by giving her the patrol, which is why he's comfortable offering it. But even when they're on the trail, he's still trying to protect her almost to a fault, right? There's that sort of harsh line where Ellie says, I'm not your kid, Joel. I get what she's saying, though. Like, in this setting, they aren't family. They're partners, and you have to operate that way and just have each other's back. She just wants to be treated without safety gloves, and she also doesn't like the fact that he's pulling out the same lines on Eugene that he pulled on her. The I promise, like he was going to like make sure that Eugene got delivered back to safety, just like he promised that nothing else happened in Salt Lake City. I understand why Joel killed Eugene. That's not really my issue with it. The issue is especially like how he went about it, right? If you get bit in the torso, I believe that means you have a couple hours until the infection fully runs through you. So you might have had a little time, but it's still a dicey move. What if you wrap this guy up, and what if like you don't make it back in time? What if like the horse, I don't know, doesn't make it up the hill? Like what if you can't navigate back? Like there are many variables here, and Joel doesn't really understand like the romantic factor between Gail and Eugene, but he does understand what it means to like lose somebody you love. That's why I think he gave him that advice, like you mentioned, about seeing someone after you die, because that's probably what he sees in Sarah, right? It sort of always feels like he's slipping back into this protectorship mode, but I think that ship has sailed. Like Ellie's lived a lot of life. Like you didn't have to lie like that. You need to stop playing house in Jackson. That's just what he's been doing for the past few years. But it's hard to reconcile that with how over the line he's been in reaction to certain stuff. Dude's got a lot of stuff buried deep down. He's done a lot of bad stuff. It's going to catch up with you. It does for him, as we know. Really cool scene choice on the shot. I really liked how they faded out to the view of the lake without actually letting you hear the sound of the gun. Then you just see the birds flying. It's just kind of like this signal of like, peace has been interrupted. But yeah, Ellie's done with this shit.
Yep. So they get back, and dude, it's crazy because at first Gail, Tommy brings Gail over. They notify her, and she just sees the body of her husband. And Joel just fucking straight up lies to her and just tells Gail, like, look,
He lays it on thick.
Right. He says, what does he say? I'm trying to say. He goes, he wanted me to tell you that he loved you. He was bit when we found him, so he wanted us to shoot him, basically. Or no, he shot himself. He didn't want to put you in danger. He shot himself. And at first, Gale's like, oh, like it just hugs Joel, and then Ellie just goes, he's a fucking liar, and just says, no, he begged to see you. He had time. Joel fucking lied. Joel shot him in the head. He lied and he promised, basically. And then Gale's like, you're a fucking sick fuck, and she slaps Joel in the face. It's crazy that Joel did this and Gale is still down to give him therapy sessions. Like it's Gale
Says a lot about Gale.
says a lot about Gale. So Gale's like, just get the fuck away from me. And Ellie's just like, fuck you. And that's how that ends. So then we cut to the night of New Year's Eve and Happy New Year 2029. So this is the scene when what's it called? Seth calls Ellie and fucking Dina dykes, and that's when Joel shoves Seth. So we jump back to this. We see at first Tommy's there with Maria and his kid Benny. I think it's Benny, right? It's Benny. Is it Benji? Benji. Fucking Benji. So Benji's getting tired. Tommy's like, all right, I'm gonna bring the kid to bed. Joel's just kind of sitting there drinking, watching with Maria. And Maria actually apologizes to Joel because if you guys remember in episode 1 of this season, that's when Maria was asking for, more houses, like so they can accept more people. And then that's when she called Joel a refugee. So she was like, I'm sorry about, being, calling you a refugee. You're very valuable to this community. You're part of our family. And like, we're really appreciative that you're here. This is when Joel catches Seth and shoves him on the ground. That's when Ellie fucking flips out at Joel. And I'm going to actually pause here before we get to their final scene where they kind of talk to each other. What did you think about the flashback? Or what did you think about the whole Gale shit and then the flashback to the New Year's Eve party, but just this time from a different perspective?
Starting with Gale, man, Catherine O'Hara pitches a gem once again. She even said in episode 1 that the fact that Joel killed Eugene is not the issue, it's with how he killed Eugene.
Oh,
and you
good
can
call.
see exactly why she would feel this way based on this. Joel thinks he's doing the best thing possible. He thinks everybody wants strength. And that's what eats at Ellie the most. It's like he always knows what's best for everybody in high stakes moments, but he comes off looking like a slime ball after this. I know Ellie did snitch, but at the same time, that's her father figure moving like that, so you can't tolerate that kind of behavior. And it's giving her flashbacks to what she saw with the Firefly type deal. The New Year's Eve thing, if Joel is the Charmeleon of homophobia earlier in this episode, Seth is the Charizard, right?
Yeah.
The way that I feel like Joel kind of sees a shittier version of himself in Seth. And that's part of the reason why he runs so harshly after him and is so upset with him, right? Because Joel once again thinks it's the right thing to do, that show of strength, but it hits a sore spot for Ellie because she's already tired of this, right? There's also connections here with Seth being a former cop, Joel making the connection with his dad being a former cop. Maybe I'm reaching here, but it feels like there is some resentment behind that move towards Seth. Just another tie-in that could be possible.
That's definitely not a reach. That's a good fucking call. All right, so yeah, Seth is the Charizard. Joel is the Charmeleon. So then we jump to later on that night. Like, we remember how the episode ends. I think this was like episode 2 or some shit, right? Maybe it was episode 1. And I think it was episode 1. So So then we see how it ends actually. So Ellie is walking home after the night, sees Joel playing guitar, and they do talk. And Ellie at first is like, or their tempers have cooled, and Ellie is like basically just saying, look, I'm growing up. You got to stop interfering in my life and just like making decisions for me all the time. You got to let me make decisions on my own. Because she had heard earlier that day that Joel took her off patrol from, I think, Jesse or maybe Tommy or whatever. And she's like, you got to stop, don't do that anymore. And then Joel is just asking about Dina. Is she your girlfriend? And Ellie goes, I don't know. I'm so stupid. And she calls Joel an asshole. And she's like, look, you lied to me, basically. And Joel doesn't know what she's talking about at first, but Ellie goes, I think I knew already, but you lied to me. So then it's starting to hit Joel. He's like, And then that's when Ellie goes, and Marlene, and now Joel's kind of breaking down. So Ellie goes, you're a fucking selfish bastard. And then she says, you basically, what does she say? Does she say you have, let me see. Oh, sorry, I jumped too far ahead. She basically is like, look, you have one chance to tell me the truth, right? She's like, you have one chance to tell me the truth. If you fucking lied to me again, we're done. We're done forever. So Joel tells her the truth. Joel's like, she's like, are there other immune people? Joel's like, no. So basically Joel fucking ruined humanity's chance at like getting back to normal. It was like the most selfish decision of all time, right? And Ellie breaks down. She's like, you fucking took that from everyone. And, you also took my purpose, because this was my purpose. Like, my purpose was I was supposed to die. I was supposed to save the world. And Ellie's like, my life would have fucking mattered. So she doesn't care that she was going to die with them making the cure. She did not give a fuck. And Joel doubles down. He's just like, look, I would do it all over again if I could do it again, because I love you. And he goes, look, and he gives the same speech to Ellie that his dad gave to him, where he tells her, look, if you somehow ever become a parent someday, because obviously you're into women, but if you still become a parent someday, you have a kid of your own, well, maybe you'll feel the same way, or just basically, I love you. I can't lose you. That's why I did it. And I would do it again. I don't regret doing what I did. And I think because Joel's honest, I think if Joel had said, yeah, I made a mistake, I wouldn't do it again, I think Ellie would be more pissed. But I think Joel was just like, dude, this is what I am. Like, it means more. And I think Ellie was like, all right, he's being an asshole, but he's being honest to me. So she's like, look, I don't think I can forgive you for this, but I want to try. And then it cuts to present day, where Ellie has just destroyed Nora, and she's heading towards that theater that they were at, or maybe she's going to find Abby, but she's back in Seattle. But yeah, this is the whole flashback episode. What did you think about all of that?
I hope you do a little better than me, might be the line of the season so far. I like the way that they have such crazy different perspectives, because Ellie is just a kid. She's still a kid, a 19-year-old just looking for purpose in a completely messed up world, where Joel is a man who got a second shot at having a kid who wants to hold on to his purpose too, right? He is trying to do better than his dad. He's got his own rough spots, but you got to love some generational trauma and healing here. This was the emotional core of the show so far, right? The whole scene, some of those tender moments gave those Frank and Bill vibes. The showrunners have done a really good job creatively when they use these passage of time flashbacks to illustrate things like human connection, changes. I did not know they were going to walk the line this tight. I thought they had like a heavy task set out for them this season, the way they started it off with everything happening so quickly. But the way that they've crafted these flashbacks has wildly exceeded my expectations. The Ellie's purpose angle is a cool callback to the Marlene quote, like you said before, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But I am glad they had a little back and forth where, like, Ellie realized that Joel's not being selfish. Like, she might think that at first, but a complicated dude. If you think he is all good or all bad based on watching this show, I think you should reconsider and watch the episodes again, because I was psyched to see Pedro back in such a big capacity this episode too. I hope it's not our last.
Yeah, it's Joel. Any parent, if you ask a parent what they would have done in Joel's situation, I think the answers would be pretty mixed, right? I don't think it's cut and dry of like, I think most parents would be like, I don't want my kid to die. So I actually think it would be rare for a parent to be like, fuck it, like my kid's gotta die to save the world. It's the ultimate, like, would you save your mom or something, or would you like, it's like, what is it, the train question, where like the train is coming down and it could kill 10 people or it could kill someone you care a lot about, and do you weigh the life of the other 10 over someone that you care about. Except Joel made this decision for the rest of the world.
Yeah, he just chose it. It's like the benefits of utilitarianism in a time of cordyceps.
All right,
Joel
so that does it.
said,
We got one
"No."
more episode to go. I think I solved the audio issues in the middle of this stream, Damon. So after this, I'm gonna play the replay real quick and see. But I think ironically, on the thing we used to loop you in, there was something that said echo cancellation and it was off, which seems good, but I turned it on. Or like, no, echo cancellation was on, which you would think is good, and I turned it off, and I think it worked. So it makes no sense at all, but we'll test it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back for the season finale. Gonna aim to do it Monday night, or unless is it Memorial Day weekend this weekend? So we might be able to do it Sunday night. We'll see.
It is Memorial Day weekend, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. All right. Any other thoughts? Any final thoughts on this episode, or you're good?
I'm just ready for some more revenge, man. I'm a sicko. I'm just ready to watch LA continue.
All right, appreciate everyone for tapping in. We will be back next week. Catch you guys later.